Okay, so we really need to talk about something right now, and that would be framing Britney Spears. The New York Times did this whole expose about it, and we need to talk about it because this is absolutely insane. So here you can see Project Rose is coming. It's a personal photo project, and get ready for more. So then I find these tweets talking about Britney Spears, Project Rose, and linking it to framing Britney Spears. Why? All of the roses. So here's the very end of this whole expose, and it's Britney with a soap rose. And get this, at the very end, it's not a flower, it's just soap. Fooled ya.
Yes, thank you so much, Clay, for your take on this interesting and very developing story. Now, let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into it. My name is Jenna Scaccia, and I'm reporting to you live from Chicago. This is BritTube. Okay guys, hey, what's up? Welcome. I'm Jenna Scaccia. If you don't know me, hi. Let me just put that down. There's a new Britney Spears documentary out, guys. Guys, when I tell you, it was 3 a.m. and I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw Clay's TikTok talking about the new documentary. I Googled that so fast, went to YouTube, watched it, and here we are right now. I can't just watch this and not talk to anyone about this. I have covered Britney Spears and her conservatorship in 2 previous videos. They'll be linked down below, above, you know the drill. I am invested in this story. And now you guys should be too. This film is called Framing Britney Spears. It is a New York Times and Hulu production presented by, yeah. It came out on February 5th, 2021. Britney Spears has been teasing on her Instagram this thing called Project Rose, and now there's speculation that maybe she has something to do with this film called Framing Britney Spears. It's not confirmed, obviously. Okay everyone, it's been a few hours since I filmed the intro for this. Let's get into this video. I will be breaking down the pros and the cons of various elements of this documentary, and we will just be chatting about what they put in, what they left out. This isn't going in depth about everything that was in the documentary. If you want that, go watch it. It's on YouTube, it's on Hulu, I believe it was on FX. It does an excellent job at showing the historical and chronological story of how she was young and then grew into her stardom, and then also leading into her conservatorship. Let's start off with some things that I think that the documentary did a really nice job on. There are some things that are overlapping with the negatives of whatever. We'll get to that. So I mean, just from a general point of view, it was really nicely made. The people, they got some really good people to agree to interview. One of the key people that they had come on was Felicia, who was Britney's assistant, would travel with her all throughout her early stages in her career throughout later. She is one of the people who really knows Britney. They were not able to get everyone involved to agree to interview, but they did definitely get people who played significant roles in the development of her career and life. I forgot to mention this earlier, so now I'm just adding this point in. For the interviews, they interviewed great people for this. Some assholes, but it's fine. There's that question of, does this have to do with the secret rose project that Britney Spears has been hinting at on her Instagram? And there is sort of speculation of there potentially being a connection because of the imagery of roses so much in this documentary. Now, behind all of the people being interviewed, there's a wall of roses. It could have been done for so many different reasons, whether it had a hidden message or not, but of course the fans were used to looking for hidden messages in imagery around Britney Spears because that's all we're given. So there's speculation of that. We met different lawyers, talent managers, we met the podcasters for Britney's Gram. We met some of the Free Britney movement activists. A lot of the topics that kept on being brought up is that Britney loved being involved and in control. One of the big things was that she is not a puppet like she's been made out to be. She, in an interview, had said that she wanted to be involved in the business decisions and know what's in all of the contracts. She was the one making the decisions for the dancers, for the way that her performances went. She had her hands in every aspect of what she was doing, which is crazy when you put that right next to like her having absolutely no control now. Regarding people as well, this documentary did a good job at showing the arc for her relationship with her father. Early on in the documentary was talking about how her father was really interested in the financial aspects of Britney's early on career and career moving forward, and he even made a comment saying that like he was going to use her money to buy himself a boat. And it's just like little sketchy things like that. And then he was really absent and not involved until the conservatorship. So we don't like him. We don't like him. A lot of these interviews, especially the ones with Felicity and also the lawyer Adam Streisand? Barbara Streisand? Isn't that her cousin? I read somewhere that the lawyer Adam is Barbara Streisand's cousin. I don't know if that's, don't quote me on that. But a lot of the interviews with them showed really how relatable and kind and what just like a person Britney Spears is and was. So like the media would portray her as being this like over-sexualized, like young, parents don't like her, women in the media that we're getting to that whole thing, not respected. But then she was kind, she gave away money, she was super relatable, and that's why she connected so much with her fans. The lawyer also went into talking about how he really didn't ever grasp that she was incapable of making her own decisions, and that there was that disconnect that supposedly is there with the conservatorship. He was very open about, I didn't see that. Like, that was not the Britney I was talking to. And I think that having these reliable sources talking about their accounts with Britney, it helps to just like reinforce that she's not this like person who can't do anything. Okay, I'm getting warm. Hold on. Next thing we're talking about in the pros category is the power of the media. This documentary does a great job at showing just the intensity and the power that the media holds on various elements. So that includes showing us the reality of her being a superstar, what it was really like going through paparazzi at all times, how terrible terrible they were. The whole media thing also shows the differences between media then and media today, things in our society that are not okay anymore. Things like talk show hosts talking about over-sexualization of her and like all these really negative things. You don't talk about women like that. Like, you can't, like, respect women, right? Like, simple things. Things that like today are sort of better. One of the like early things she did like a talent competition, and the judge announcer guy asked her if she has a boyfriend, like, can I be your boyfriend? Like, girls aren't just for men. I know that that's like a thing of like the time, and like things have changed and people are becoming more respectful, that's the word. People are becoming more respectful, but bro, people were not good to her and they would not treat a man the way that they treated her. The documentary filmmakers were able to interview the paparazzi who was there for the whole like umbrella situation. You know what I'm talking about? The way he was talking about Britney made it sound like he really thought that they were friends and that she never told them to go away. That means that she's okay with them following her during her lowest points, just being so close to her that she can't even like move. He ended up admitting that like a lot of that was great because it led to a paycheck. No, she wasn't perfect. Yes, she was going through some things, but like there was no human decency or respect given to her whatsoever by these people. Another power of the media thing was with her and Justin Timberlake and that breakup. Britney was really made out to be the villain in that breakup, and it totally wasn't warranted. They were treating Justin, putting him on a pedestal just like as the man that he is, and had such little respect for Britney, and it really was terrible. The last point that I'm making under like the power of the media category is the discussion of mental health in the media. Back then in like 2007, when she had her head shaving thing and whatever, mental health wasn't really talked about. It was very stigmatized. It is not a topic of conversation like it is today. People are not as open and understanding and knowledgeable about it. And I think that seeing how mental health was not talked about versus what it's like today, having that like juxtaposition idea is eye-opening, because it definitely shaped who she was in the tabloids, where now it's people have sympathy or empathy, or people are knowledgeable and educated and a little bit better. Not great, but like a little bit better. Like human decency is like went from like here to like here, you know? There's room, but it's better. The next positive thing that I'm talking about is the conservatorship information. It did do a good job at really giving a good umbrella overview of what it is, what it does, who's involved, generally. I know before Britney Spears, I had no idea what a conservatorship was, so I think this documentary did a good job at like just informing the audience about what was happening, covering things like how Britney's finances were controlled. Britney's life is controlled because of this conservatorship, and she lost all of her power, but also because her finances were controlled, and then she was paying all these people to work for her, even though they were controlling her, she now has to pay both sides of the legal fees, and that's just so screwed up. I didn't really realize the financial aspect of this whole thing. This is a trial that's dragging on and on for years. She's fighting for her freedom, but she's paying for all of it. Like, also, some of these like good and bads that I'm going off of did come from a article that was posted on the Laughing Place. I'll have it linked down below. Like I said, I like to be able to talk to other people and see their perspectives on movies and documentaries. I am that person who Googles it right after to like learn more. Now, the negatives. Sort of. Let's jump in. If you aren't familiar with the whole dementia situation, the conservatorship was able to become permanent because her father claimed that she has dementia, even though nobody can support that. There wasn't a mention of this in the documentary. There was mention from Adam, the lawyer, of there coming into play a document that he didn't have access to that was the like one of the deciding factors for this whole thing to happen. Like, I think that's what they were talking about, was this document shared that she like has dementia, even though she literally went on to perform and have Vegas residencies and years and would do TV shows and work. It just doesn't line up, and no one's accounts of her during that time or now line up with that. But so I wonder why that was not included. I think that if there was talk about these claims of dementia, it could have also opened up conversations about the sketchiness and questionable nature of her psychiatric holds and her diagnoses. Even though it said like she was checking herself in, things just don't line up timeline wise. So I think that this documentary could have delve in a little bit further, but like I know that there's a lot of information, so you can only fit so much. Touching back onto finances, something that was sort of weird was that they talked about how in her Vegas residency she was making $1 million a week, but then a few minutes later they mentioned that her net worth was around $60 million. And I don't know entirely, you know, taxes, paying people for their work or whatever, but a couple of years of a Vegas residency at $1 million a week does not equal having a net worth of $60 million. And that's not even including all of these separate things that she was doing, TV appearances, TV shows, her fragrances, like it's not including that. So where is all of her money? She has to be worth more than that. I'm not going to go too much in this next thing, but big key figures in this whole story were left out. People who played large roles in the decision making that has led her to where this whole situation is right now were left out, not even discussed, not even mentioned in the slightest. And I feel like that probably has something to do with the like legal issues, some people wanting it to be hush hush, their name out of it. The documentary also left out mention of her boyfriend Sam. He wasn't even listed as one of the people who was contacted to potentially try to have the documentary. Like, he knows her, he He's her boyfriend. This next thing fits into both sides. So much of this fits into both sides. But the inclusion of the Free Britney movement and the activists involved, obviously that's a positive, and they did talk about that quite a bit. I mean, it played a significant role showing her supporters and how her fans really believe in her and believe that there's more to this story. But then it didn't dive into what the fans are really doing besides like standing outside of the court, you know, and like bringing more like media attention to this. I thought that they could have dived in, whatever, to the whole situation on her social media. They sort of said that with the type of content Britney's posting, like if someone wanted to see a hidden message in it, they could, which is totally true. And one of the big things related to that was the whole yellow shirt situation. I feel like part of this has to touch into the whole, is this journalism or is this conspiracy? So I understand that as a journalist, the New York Times probably needed something a little bit more substantial to like be able to include that. And that's something that does bother me. But like, there to be some kind of like resolution, and there really isn't. General thoughts. Is this Project Rose? Britney has been talking about this photo project called Project Rose on her Instagram for months, and there's speculation that she has something to do with this documentary coming out, but there obviously is no confirmation of that. We don't know. I hope so. I hope that this is just the opening of what's about to come. But as of right now, the conservatorship has been extended. So originally the court, I think from the court hearing in October, the conservatorship was pushed to extend through February 1st, 2021, which just happened. As of December 17th, I want to say 2020, it was extended till September 2021. Part of my question with this whole documentary is why now? Why is this coming out now? It feels kind of like it's late to the party. Yes, it was really well made and well produced, and yes, they got great people to come on, so like that does take time. But this was a huge topic in the media last summer. What was really the purpose of this? It feels like there's more. Maybe the intention was for this to come out in February because the conservatorship was up for review again. But now that it's pushed to September, I don't know. That's just speculation. Also, question, what even is Framing Britney? The title of this is Framing Britney, and like, does it mean like picture frames, like framing Britney, like showing the inner in-depths of her life and the realities of it, sort of? Or does it mean like framing her of something? Like, if you know more, comment down below, like let's chat, please. Okay, also, what was that soap moment? The soap moment sort of like does make us think of this whole like Project Rose situation. Like,
very end of this whole expose, and it's Britney with a soap rose, and get this, at the very end, it's not a flower. It's just soap. Fooled ya.
It's just soap. It's not a pretty rose. Gotcha. Things aren't quite as they seem. Like, it's kind of like, okay. It was a weird add-in. Because, like, why that? Generally, overall, this documentary was really well made and did do a good job at explaining some things, but it sort of felt like a Cliff Notes summary. It did a good job at covering all the big things leading up to the evolution of what this conservatorship with Britney Spears is, but it really didn't go too much in depth. There was no like resolution, there was no like big storyline other than following the chronological order of events. I mean, I guess it was like an expose, a biography, sort of. I think I'm just like grasping at straws, like I want there to be some like more meaning. Free Britney. That's all I have to say. See ya.